YouTube, it's Faye with Danny. And Danny is helping me fix some boo-boos. Right now I'm swapping a transmission in a second gen Tundra, which I wasn't gonna make a tutorial on because I was just telling Danny this is something that really doesn't go wrong in those trucks. This one has obviously been abused, and maybe 3 of you out there would even care about the tutorial. But one thing is that I have faced a bunch of fails on this project because this truck is not local to here in San Antonio, Texas, where Danny and I are. So it's very rusty. It is very rusty. It has lived on the beach or up north or somewhere not from here.
Or the beach and up north.
Oh, or both.
Yeah.
So I was I was hoping that today I would be test driving this darn truck, but no, I cannot put the transmission back in because many things have gone wrong. There were some stripped bolts, which Danny has the helicoil kit for that I do not have, so gotta get that. And then this is the cross brace, the cross member that holds the transmission to the frame. 2 bolts were very hard to get out, and 1 is broken off in there. So I'm here with Danny today, and Danny's gonna help me get this out. Now, before you think, wait a second, Faye, you're a total failure. This could be true, but not because of this. I have already tried torching it out. I have already tried air hammering it. I have soaked it overnight in a concoction of acetone and transmission fluid.
So at this point, we figure out what our options are, and we move forward. Most people, the option would be a salvage yard, and you go get another cross member, and you're done. If they have one for you, this probably is an inexpensive piece.
Probably.
But unless you live in areas like where this came from, which suspension parts are not the thing to get at salvage yards when you live where they have a lot of salt. But
Correct.
we're going to give you that option. That would be just be done with it, call your salvage yard, and go pick up another one. This is not normally a serviceable item.
No.
You keep using it.
Right.
So at a salvage yard, if it was a cylinder head, you're going to pay premium because every engine that's in there needs a cylinder head.
Yeah.
But this is the part they're going to have a lot of them. They probably get crushed because no one ever replaced it.
It's not really like a
Option 2, which is not probably very rare people would do this, but you call your Toyota dealer or any manufacturer, whatever you're working on, and you get you another one. But it's going to be pricey, probably even more than what the tranny cost, and the tranny was very expensive.
The tranny was very expensive.
So the option that we do, we're more DIY, and you do it. That's why you do this. You do it yourself. So the option 2 is how can we do it at home if you don't have a place around you. So that's the options that we're going to work with now.
Or if you're stubborn and you're like, I don't want that bolt to defeat me.
It's nothing that should be having any issues.
Right.
But what's happened is crud has gotten in there, salt, water, rust, or whatever.
Well, and it's not a through either, is what I want people to see. It's like a tube in there.
Yeah, so it's kind of, how did it get in there? But what's happened is, that's why, look at all these that had to be cut. So they just got so much crud in there that they actually froze in there. Yep. And that's why you've had to cut them and remove them. And look at this.
That's exactly what I did. I was I was using resonant frequency, I was using heat, and then eventually I'm just like, I can't get them out. So I snapped these heads off on purpose, cut the tails off, and just air hammered them out. It was a disaster, but
we got a massive air hammer, and that would have normally done it.
Yeah.
That would have normally done it. But we have one booger over here.
Yep.
It's done everything.
Oh yeah, and you can see my air hammer marks on it. The attempts have been made.
And at a certain point, when you're hammering, it's going to swell up.
Yes.
So at a certain point, that even might be some of the problem. But you can see how corroded it is.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure these were plated from the factory, and maybe that's the thing. The plating wasn't thick enough, or it wasn't, because it looks like it's very thin plating. So you're going to purchase a new set of bolts.
Yep, I already have 4 new from the dealership ready to go.
So what we're going to try is what Chief would do. Some things aren't conventional, but like Monk would say, okay, no, go ahead, throw it away. No, I agree with you. Throw it away and buy a new one. But us on this side that work real hard, we try to fix things. Okay, so there's things, and we've done this on water pumps. If you have a Ford with the 2 long bolts in the front timing cover and water pump, and you pull that water pump off, you know what I'm talking about. If you're a Pontiac guy, you know what I'm talking about. Water gets in there, corrodes those bolts. You go to pull this off to do a water pump change. One of the things that we're saying, you're home for the weekend. I'm going to do a water pump in my driveway.
Oh yeah,
and then you end up with the whole engines out because what happened? You're doing a water pump. Corrosion gets in these bolts just like this situation. So what would my uncle do? Like I said, if you're going to complain, go buy a new one. Done, story over. You can go ahead and, I don't want to say go ahead and move on to the next video, but for us that we need to fix things, look what we're going to do. We're going to come in here. This isn't really critical besides it holds the transmission. You say, well, Danny, it is critical. We're going to drill a hole in here because what's happening is all of the PB Blaster, the acetone, all of the different WD-4, whatever you use, it doesn't make any difference. You've done everything that should have worked. In fact, the acetone and transmission fluid is an old school way.
Yeah.
If that didn't do it, it pretty much, nothing's going to. Why? Because it's not getting in here.
Yeah.
It's corroded. It's getting in here. It's getting in here. When you hammer and beat it, resonant frequency is bringing it down. The center of it is still completely dry and corroded. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole in the center and get to the bolt. Now we can put the penetrating oil where it needs to be. Ooh, look at that rust.
Is it bad?
At the end, if we're concerned, we could weld a little hole up. And you can see as soon as we hit that bolt, rust just starts coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And we could have probably did it with one, but since, like I said, this isn't
No, I've been fighting this one for a full day now, so. And you're just using WD-40.
Yeah, it's WD-40 is more of a generic. There's better stuff for certain things.
Yes.
But this pretty much does anything that does a lot of things good doesn't do them great, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's this is, if you're going to have one product in your thing, I think this is pretty much will get you where you need to be. But there are better ones out there.
Oh, yeah. And people are so passionate about penetrating lubricants. As soon as I mention one of them, I'll have like 300 comments telling me I should have used something else. So.
And can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
It fills up,
I totally can.
And then it just goes, it's going in.
Yes.
It's going in.
Yeah, it disappears.
And then we could put a little heat because heat is attracted to cold. So if we're trying to get some of this penetrating lubricant in the backside and we can't get to it, we could heat the backside and it would just suck it into the backside. We're not drilling the structural part of it.
Exactly.
It's a tube that keeps this from crushing when you tighten it.
Exactly.
That is exactly what it is.
Yep.
It's a crush tube. I mean, it just keeps it from crushing. And that bolt is something else. That is most definitely a hardened bolt.
Oh, yeah.
And what we most definitely don't want to do is we don't want to have it changed to cherry red. We don't want to change the temperament of it. We just want to put it in a little heat. Look at all that getting out of there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is perfect.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, it's coming out.
Look at that. All right.
Oh, I love this.
And we can always add more. This is just taking it in really well. And before we were just getting it in on the ends. So by having those holes, now we're allowing it to get in all the way.
All the way.
In fact, there it is.
Okay, now I do realize that Danny is making this look really easy, but just keep in mind this is also a trick of my editing because I want to be fully transparent. This took about an hour and a half from beginning to end. There was adding heat and then more air hammering and then more drilling and then adding more lubricant and then more air hammering. So if you're at home struggling with a tricky bolt, don't give up. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of persistence.
All right, here we go again.
Here we go.
Did it do anything? It has become one.
It has, but it's going to become less than one in just a second. Look at that. Right now, I'm hitting just the bolt. I'm actually going inside and just hitting the bolt.
Oh, smart.
To vibrate it. That's it.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh my.
So Chiefy's way did work. This is probably the toughest one out there. But
Really?
I got a feeling there's no way that it was going to come off. What did it take? We had to drill holes into it to get to the bolt, to put some penetrating fluid around it.
Did use some heat. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it took some, resonant frequency essentially.
Yeah.
And what we did is we went through, and this little spike allowed us to hit just the bolt. Now, hitting the outside was good because that expands the metal.
Yep.
But we went in here and just hit the bolt. And as we were vibrating it, we actually saw rust coming out. There he is. We're done. You see the three little holes? Right there. Three little holes that we drilled. There they are. 1, 2, 3.
Oh man.
That
Look
we
how
actually drilled. If this
deformed
bolt wasn't so hard, I will say this. Toyota bolt, you know, I know exactly what my uncle would do. We would use these bolts as chisels. You keep some just around to use as a chisel. We did drill into it.
Yeah.
But boy, this wasn't, you know, really, I was at the point that I was going to put this on the Bridgeport mill, use an end mill, and we were going to actually have to end mill it out. But it worked. We got it out.
Heck yeah.
With a little bit of everything, but I know there's, in my mind, this would not going to come out without drilling those holes in there because it was just too dry.
All I'm gonna say is that is extremely validating that it was so challenging. Because if I just showed up and Danny just like hammered it out, like whatever, Faye, I would have felt really bad. But no, I spent hours.
It was just so dry and so corroded that the WD-40 was just getting in the top and the bottom.
Yeah,
you tried
it wasn't
PBS,
getting
you
in,
tried
yeah.
acetone with, and that's actually an old school trick.
Tony
and that
taught
actually
it
will
to me.
work. Yeah, and that's in 24 hours. You let it sit for a long time.
Long time.
Nothing was going to get it because the inside was dry, corroded, and rusted.
They had like become one.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and huge thank to Danny for the lesson. I know I'm the lucky one that gets to have him as a mentor on the daily basis, but sometimes you guys get to benefit from the knowledge. So if you haven't checked out Danny's channel, he's has been making videos in a while because, as you can tell, we're in a different backdrop. He's closed down the shop, and now he's moved to his home garage, and he's been renovating the home garage.
Studio, so this is our new studio. But yes, but we can all take advantage of Chief isms or the things that Chief would say through these videos. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Heck yeah. So check out Danny's channel, and if you think Danny's the man, just let us know in the comments below. Thank you, Danny. I think you're the man. All right, we'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Yeah? What you got there? You got work?